Welcome to Sheni V'Chamishi. How are you? Recently, when I went to visit the local church on the way to Shul on Shabbos, and I was singing Oirech Yomim, I was listening to different responses, which were not from my friends who understand the humor, and some of them were very interesting. And I'll tell you, so one Satmar guy was like, these guys go off the derech and they break Shabbos, and they do all these different types of malachas, and they do lahachis and the tayavin and all that. But going into the church and taking the water from that little kiyar and going tick tick and spritzing it, this guy is already a goy. So I thought that's a great idea for someone who wants to be a secular Jew. He wants to hang around people who their mind is already past all the superstitions and other enslavements of religion. Some people don't believe in superstition, but they're stuck. Like, I don't know what to do, I'm stuck. So some people are neither stuck, neither do they believe in superstition. So what do? You finally have one guy who decided some great idea if you can spread it around, which is if you go to the church and you do the water, he considers it that you're a goy. Now I have another idea. One girl, a friend of my, a sister of a good friend, she said, I don't mind that you did the thing, but why did you cross yourself in the church? That's terrible. So everybody has their thing, their pet peeve, I think it's called, where we don't like. So you go in, you do all the stuff they say. You could even Shmad. By the way, I'm going to probably become a Catholic, but first I want to be a Muslim, which is, of course you could just be a Muslim by saying that you bear witness that Allah is Muhammad is the prophet of Allah, and that's enough. But if you do it in front of a bunch of Muslims with Eidim, it's more muhudr. So I want to do that, but then I want to also do a Shmad thing just for people who think it's a big deal. Now, as a naturalist, I know nothing happens. You sprinkle water on someone, nothing happens. So some of the interpreters said it's only because you're showing the goyim, that's why you should get killed. Get killed not because you're actually worshiping another god, because then as the Muslims and the Christians and the Jews started to evolve into a religion that believed there was only one God, so they started thinking that all other gods are myth, but that wasn't the Ten Commandments were coming to Shavuos. Shavuos says don't have any other gods before me. This is the beginning of monotheism, replacing polytheism. So anyway, that was very interesting. And then one guy, he's a Ger Tzedek, a Puerto Rican Ger Tzedek. He was raised in Satmar. He's an anti-Zionist. Doesn't know that the war against Zionism is over, because Zionism is not a bokoyach of Jews. It's just it happens to be Jews, right? So he realized that the whole thing is just it's a bad interpretation, but he still has his shitta against them. So he thought that this video of a boy walking to church is to get him angry. And he's like, we're always on the defensive. We have to be on the offensive. You could be on the offensive if you get your own country and you have your own theocracy. But our ancestors didn't come here to live under your rule. They came here to have their freedom to practice whatever they want. Chassidism, Litvishism, whatever you want to do, any way you want to bounce it. But he's against the Tzionim, and he doesn't realize that when it says Jews are forbidden to have their own state, what it means is a theocracy. So I don't know if b'diavad you're allowed to live under a democracy which has no God. There's no God above America. America believes in the law, the Constitution. It doesn't believe in the Bible. So the people believe in the Bible, but so far so good. There's no revolution. Iran, with the revolution. By the way, these guys were in church today. It's a Sunday today. These guys were in church, and what bothers me is I don't see that when the way they're playing volleyball, I don't see the lachluchis of the going to church today and the davening. I don't. Says that's nicht the lachluchis. I'm going to call the Rebbe Shab and have a discussion about this. Says that's nicht the lachluchis. That from the davening to Yoshke, it doesn't. The way they play basketball, it's too the toms. It felt the tom in them, So anyway, wonderful reactions, and of course there's. So what happens if someone considers you a guy? The answer is it's just the guy who is the fanatic considers you a goy, but your friends, your secular Jewish friends, will not consider you a goy because they don't believe in the Tumah V'Tareh. And the whole concept of Gatus is only to become, because the tribes used to believe that if you're outside the tribe, you're contaminated. So they would wash you with by slaughtering a cow and spritching blood on you. All tribes did that. It wasn't a chiddush of the Jews. And then after came this concept of mikveh, where you go to the beach. But the beach is not an official, it's more of a Protestant type or a Seventh-day Adventist where they take you and you dip in the water and you go and you got to do it in a church, as a b'chavod, with 10 Eidim and all that, a whole minyan. Another amazing thing. Oh, so back in the day, Jews, if they didn't like Judaism, they would shmad. But because of the reform and because of secular Judaism, Yiddishists and Zionism and all these types, which is what the Rebbe Rashab was dealing with, they saved Judaism. They were fighting Hitler. They were maintaining the number of people who, when the Frierdiker Rebbe would go fishing for believers, he would fish from the pool of Jews. He wasn't too good and too open-minded to fish for regular farmer boys, like the story with the Baal Shem Tov, where the farmer boy goes into shul and he prays, and another kid says, "God, I want to give you a coin. I want to play you a song," and the kid passes out. Those were not Jews ethnically. Those were just local pagan kids that the Baal Shem Tov would look up and say, that's what Hasidism was. It was more than a tribal religion. It was a spiritual thing. It was the God who is the God of the universe, not just the God of Israel. So people, young Bachram, are asking now, what's the future of Chassidus? And I was trying to explain to them that it depends what you want to accomplish. That's what the future is. You can accomplish whatever you want. Maybe not in America, but there are definitely countries that would welcome you there, who go by God's law and they whip people and kill people and things like that. And the head of state is technically God, the God of Abraham, Allah. Especially you have in Islamic State, you know, pray, daven hard. Maybe they'll let you have a little shetach, a little zip code, Crown Heights, and they'll let the Rabbonim. It's much easier over there. You don't have to deal with tznius every day putting up posters. It's acceptable in that area to go tzniistic. No one breaks the laws over there. And if you do break the laws over there, you're taka crazy. Unless you're some self-sacrifice activist. But otherwise, over there, here you could tell someone he's crazy, even though no doctor agrees with you. If someone doesn't believe in your form of worship. So that was really interesting. I really enjoyed the reaction because it was people's expression of their education. It was the expression of their thoughts and feelings and their own unique point of view, just like art. And if you appreciate art, you can appreciate religion in terms of how people see things. It was gewaldig. Anyway, these guys, the way they play volleyball, ze felt in de lachluches von Joschke a bissl. Ze felt a tam in them. Ze felt in the Yiddishkeit, but their Goyishkeit doesn't have enough Yiddishkeit in it. Thank you for watching.